reason. And then we have ones that, will, get an attitude and have the smart comments. Well, get a better job. And I always say to that, quite frankly, you're telling us to get a better job. Well, right back at you. How about you get a better job so you can afford to tip the service? Welcome back to the Dashing Investor YouTube channel, where we're all about positivity and finding the best ways to make the most money with DoorDash. So yeah, today, guys, we're going to be talking about why you should tip your DoorDash driver. So yeah, guys, it's a tough topic. Most drivers on this side of the fence, think that we should definitely be tipped. But then you have people on the other side of the fence that say, hey, it's not their job really to tip us. So yeah, we're going to discuss some different things about that topic. So hopefully everybody becomes a little bit more informed about this topic. So yeah, we're just going to cover a few reasons why you should tip your DoorDash driver. And after we do that, we'll kind of cover some other things on the topic. And I'll just give my opinions on what I feel about this whole thing about tipping DoorDash drivers. So yeah, let's jump into the number one reason. And number one reason is, our base pay. It's very low. Sometimes it can be low as $2 base pay. Yeah. And what's a base pay? Basically is what DoorDash pays us to deliver the food. Even when we do not get a tip, this is what DoorDash pays us. And yes, it can be as low as $2. So you think about throwing those expenses in there, like our car maintenance, insurance, gas, and we deliver that food and we get $2. Yeah, that's not going to add up at all. So without that tip, yeah, we don't even really have a livable wage without you guys giving us a tip. So that's definitely number one. Our base pay can be as low as $2. Now on longer distances, the base pay can go up to $3 and $4. But with the distance that they want us to go for $3 and $4, it just never adds up to where we're making money without that tip. So yeah, that's the number one way. It's just our base pay is really, really low without that tip there. What we would get paid on an order. It would be really, really low without the tip there. So yeah, that's number one. Our base pay is super low. Now, let's jump into number two, why you should tip your DoorDash driver. And it's just for faster service. If you didn't know, when an order comes in and the driver sees it, we'll look at the miles and how much we getting paid on that order. And when you do not tip, most of the time the miles are just too long for the pay that we're going to be paid. So what happens? That order keeps getting pushed around. Nobody wants to take it. Sometimes it may even get canceled, or you might get a driver that's maybe new with this, or maybe a driver that's at the time is working on what we call earned by time. They may bring it to you, but probably 99% of the time, your food is going to be cold. Your food may get to you really, really late, might right before it's time for the cutoff to when you're supposed to receive it, or you may even receive it after the cutoff time. And who wants cold food? You ordered a burger and now the bread is cold, or whatever you may have ordered is cold, and you just paid DoorDash fees, you paid for the food, and is it really worth it to you? Or, you maybe want to tip a little bit extra. If you're using the service, I'm guessing you still want some decent food to eat. So maybe just throw in a few extra dollars there so your food will get to you a lot faster. So when we see that order and it's like, oh, okay, this order may be going 5 miles total. And okay, yeah, we're getting paid maybe $7, $8, $9, $10 on this order. Hey, yeah, I'll go ahead and take this order. It may hit that first driver, and that driver decide to go ahead and take that order, and they get on over to the restaurant, get it picked up, and drop it off to you, and so you can have some decent food to eat without it being, you didn't pay all those fees, and now your food is just disgusting. So yeah, that's number 2. You'll just get your food a lot quicker. Number 3. Hey, a DoorDash driver, yeah, we have expenses. We got that car maintenance. We got that gas. We got that insurance. Something may happen to where we get a flat tire. That's extra expenses, because the more time that you on the road driving your car, there's more chances of things may happen to your car. So, that's more oil changes. That's more of everything, because simple fact, we're just on the road longer. So that just gives it more time for something that may happen. And then you even have things like, again, without that tip, the base pay is really low. Like, again, it could be low as $2. And the base pay, again, it may be $3 or $4, but the distance that we went, it's not going to add up. It, on average, probably about 20 to 30 minutes to complete an order. So you're talking about, again, maybe $3 or $4 we're making, maybe in 30 minutes. And quite frankly, at that point, we're losing money. So now we're out here working, and now we're losing money. And we all know we don't go work a job to lose money. So yeah, just keep that in mind when you're not tipping. Hey, your DoorDash driver has expenses. I mean, a lot of people will say, hey, well, that's not on me. And, you accepted that when you started working this job. But, we'll cover more of that later. But, I understand we all have different thoughts on this topic here. So yeah, number 3, we have expenses to pay. And without that tip, sometimes we literally could lose money on delivering the order. And number 4, hey, it's just appreciation. Just like when you go to a restaurant or, and you're getting good service, just the way that you appreciate your DoorDash driver. Again, it goes back to, we're using our time, we're using our resources, like our car, we have to pay all those expenses, our gas. And then you have things like, hey, it may be bad weather that day. It may be pouring down, because I know I have done orders where there was no tip, pouring down outside, bad weather. And, when I complete that order, I see no tip. And quite frankly, I'm like, wow, that's kind of crazy. I'm pretty sure it's pouring down outside, and, and you don't tip. So, that sometimes just blows my mind. And then something that happens a lot more is a long wait at the restaurant. You might not think about that, but hey, orders are not always ready when we get to that restaurant. Sometimes, hey, it may be a 30-minute wait, and we're getting paid $5 on that order. So now you're talking about a 30-minute wait at the restaurant. That's just waiting at the restaurant. That doesn't even count getting to you yet. So if you're, say, 10 minutes away, I waited at the restaurant for 30 minutes, and now we're working on your order for 40 minutes. You did not tip, and, we're getting paid $5. for that order because of the super long wait. And then, so you're thinking about $5 for 40 minutes. Plus, here you go again. We used our gas, all the wear and tear on our car. So all that adds up to we definitely lost money on that order. So yeah, it's just about, hey, appreciation for your driver being out here doing this, getting this food to you. If you work at home or if you're at your job working or whatever you're doing, you're busy at home, you don't have time to go run and get that food. So you jump on the app and order your food. So it's just an appreciation. And I understand. I totally understand. Hey, it's people out here that do not know how much we get paid and don't know anything about our side of the fence. Well, so I'm just telling you today, our base pay can go low as $2. And if it goes up to $3 or $4, you best believe those miles have went up. And in the end, the driver is losing. And sometimes we're actually losing money. We did not even make money on that order. So, yeah, it's just appreciation for some of the things that we go through so we can get that food to you so you can keep doing whatever you're doing at the time without stopping and having to go get your own food. Or you may not have the resources to go get your own food. If you don't have a car or whatever you don't have, it's just showing the appreciation to the driver. Since that you do know now how much we get paid when you do not tip the driver. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump on into number 5. It just helps keep the gig economy as a whole alive. That's, hey, because we're all in it together. We're in it as the drivers. You are in it as the customers. You're in the company itself. If it's Uber Eats or DoorDash or whatever it may be, we're all in it together. The company is fighting to stay open, keep its thin profits going, to keep the business going. You guys, you want the convenience of this service. We're out here trying to make extra money, or it may be a full-time job. So those tips just help keep the whole machine running. So that's number 5. It just helps keep the machine running, because if you don't tip, it's going to get to the point where the drivers are saying, hey, this is just not worth it. And, as you get less drivers, here you go again. Now it's less drivers. The service is going to get even worse because now it's too many orders, not enough drivers. And then if you're not tipping and there's not enough drivers, your food is just getting colder and colder, or you may not even get it because the company has canceled your order. So it just turns into a big mess in the long run when you do not tip. So it just keeps the whole machine running and alive. So yeah, guys, that's 5 ways or 5 reasons you should tip your DoorDash driver or your Uber Eats driver or whatever food delivery driver it is. That's 5 reasons, because we all pretty much it's the same for most of the food delivery apps. So now, just kind of my thoughts on some things. Again, like I said, we're on this side of the fence, and you have our customers on the other side of the fence, and you have some great customers out there that tip us great, and we definitely appreciate those customers that tip really good and totally understand what we're going through. Some customers know exactly what we're going through, already know what I explained today. Some do not know that. They're just, they just appreciate the service, or maybe they've done a similar job, something as like being a waiter or a waitress, and they totally understand that tipping is a good thing for your driver. Now, and then you have the others who do not want to tip for whatever reason. And then we have ones that, will, get an attitude and have the smart comments, will get a better job. And I always say to that, quite frankly, you're telling us to get a better job. Well, right back at you. How about you get a better job so you can afford to tip the service? Because, yeah, I know it's plenty of you guys out there that say, hey, I'm not going to tip. I know exactly what you guys are getting paid and go through. I'm still not going to tip. I didn't tell you to go get that job. And, all those smart comments. So, hey, right back at you. If you can't afford to use the service properly, hey, just go ahead and go get your own groceries. You have options. I know me growing up, my mom, she did not drive. My dad, she drove earlier in her life, and for whatever reason, she stopped driving. And my dad, when he was stationed overseas, say for like 3 years, it was just my mom and I at home. So we had to eat. We had to get groceries. So what did she do? She basically got with a friend, and I remember like all the time, her and her friend used to go grocery shop together. And then that's how she had her groceries, and this is way before there were food delivery apps. So you have options. You have buses. You have city buses. You can jump on the bus and go get your groceries, especially in this day and time where things are more expensive. I personally, I cannot understand how you can use this service and then do not tip your DoorDash driver when there's other options like, hey, call your friend up and say, hey, my car is down right now, or whatever you got going on right now. Hey, next time you go to the grocery store, hey, can we go to the grocery store together? Or go ahead and jump on that city bus, go get those groceries. You have to eat. You got to go to work and you want lunch at work. Hey, plan, be responsible, plan out what you're going to eat. You like I said, you have to eat. So plan it out. And quite frankly, you're using our resources, using our time, using our car, using our gas. You're using our resources to get your food. So, and I totally understand it. If you did not know what we go through on our end, what we get paid, I totally understand. And if hopefully from this point you do start tipping whatever you can afford. If it was me, if you're wondering, well, how much should I tip? Well, if it was me, if say if the total mileage to my house was about $5, I would tip at the minimum $1 per mile. So if it's going 5 miles, that means you would tip $5 for that order. Now, if you can tip, say, $1.25 or $1.50, and of course, if you can tip even more than that, that's great. But if you can tip at least $1 per mile, maybe $1.25, $1.50. Again, I know we're all out here on this struggle together. So, we don't expect you to, tip, $20, tip more than what you even paid for your food or whatever. But sometimes it may even come out where it may end up like that, depending on how much you bought, how much food you bought. But yeah, usually about at least $1 per mile. This way, it's worth it to us. Your order get picked up a lot quicker, and hopefully, your food is still nice and hot about time it gets to you. But yeah, I see things online where people, again, they know what we're going through on this end, but they just do not care. But we do appreciate everybody that do tip well and appreciate what we're doing out here. And, you have people who have situations where, hey, they may not can't even go with their friend or go on the bus. And that's, due to disabilities, which I totally understand that. But what I've seen from people with disabilities, they tip good. So, because again, I guess they understand, like, hey, I can't go get this food myself. I really appreciate these people out here doing what they're doing so I can receive my medication. I can receive my food or whatever is being delivered at the time. So, people like to say that too. Well, some people has a disability. Well, those people with disabilities usually tip pretty decent, and sometimes they tip pretty good, and I'm pretty sure you got some out there that can't, for whatever reason, tip. And quite frankly, when I come to a door and somebody hasn't tipped, and I see somebody, they're disabled when they come to the door and, end up not being a tip, I'm totally fine with that. I get it, and they didn't ask to be disabled and they might be in a situation where they cannot tip. So I totally get it. I don't have a problem with that. I'm just happy that I could do something for someone, help someone out. But for the rest of you out there that's totally healthy and you just don't care, yeah, you get no sympathy from me because you're using my resources, you're using my time, and quite frankly, I'm not going to pay for you guys to eat. Pay for a stranger to eat. Now, I know a lot of people may say, hey, why are you telling me? You should be telling the company to pay you more. Well, okay, let's look at that. Most of these companies, some of them are not even profiting yet. Some have very thin profits. And if they start to pay us more, guess who's going to pay for that? They're not going to pay it out of their pocket. They're going to pass it on to you, the customer. So if they pay us more, they're going to add it to your fees. And now you have no choice but to pay more. Now, at least with tipping, you can adjust that tip. You can tip whatever you can afford at the time. But if you throw it back on the company, they're not going to eat that cost. That's not how business works. They're going to pass it on to the customer. They're going to pass it on to you. And at that point, now you're paying even more and you can't control that price hike. So just think about that, man. Just all the customers who do not tip, just think about everything that I said today. And if you can, throw your driver a couple of extra dollars since you now are informed on what we go through on our side. But yeah, today, guys, it was great hanging out with you as always. And I wish everyone out there a great day. I hope everybody is reaching all their goals, all their dreams, no matter how tough it may get. Do not stop. Keep pushing. Don't let no one stop you from reaching your goals. And as always, I want everyone to be safe out there and keep getting that